12 years before Lord Chaitanya appeared, this is the general idea, basic idea that we've heard, Lord Nityananda appeared in 𝐂𝐻𝐻akra. And 𝐂𝐻𝐻akra, up to that time, it was a nice place, but they had had many difficulties in 𝐂𝐻𝐻akra. But after Lord Nityananda appeared, then 𝐂𝐻𝐻akra became like, well, you could say like a heavenly planet, or like the spiritual world. Just very, very amazing. Everything was wonderful. Everyone was just so happy. Excuse me. And they understood it's because of the presence of Nitai. Haribol. It works. It's readable. It is. Can you read it? Haribol. Okay. So this is a song which you're probably not, I don't know, maybe you are. Are you familiar with this song? Nitai More. My Nitai. Beautiful song. It's by Narahari Saka Thakur. Let me just read through it so that we know what we're singing. Of course, you are all Bengali, so you probably just understand it, isn't it? You understand it? You understand? Apni Bengali? Oh. Apni Bengali? Nay. Oh. Apni, really? Sure. Okay, anyway, that's fine. So first verse, Bhuvana Pavana, Nitai Mora, Najani Ki Bhave, Sadai Bora, which means, my Lord Nitai purifies all the worlds. How is he always overcome with the ecstasy of spiritual love? I do not know. Gora Gora Bali, Dubahu Tuli, Matagajayena Chalaye Duli. Raising his arms, he chants, Gora Gora. What does he chant? Gora Gora. Gora Gora. Yeah, something like that. Matagajayena, like an intoxicated elephant, he sways to and fro. Kante Jalamala, Malati Mala, Parisara Buke, Karaye Kela. On his neck glistens a jasmine garland. A garland that playfully rests on his chest. Just a second. All right, 4. Sulalita Mukhe Madhurahasi Chande Dalayena Amina Rashi, which means, on his graceful, playful face is a gentle smile. From the moon of his face flows a flood of nectar. 5. Talamala Jala Jaruna Anki Sechahani Charu Karuna Maki. Tears stream from his eyes. His glance is filled with mercy. 6. Bareka se anche decae yare, premiere patare, basaya tare. Any person who once sees him with his own eyes floats in an ocean of ecstatic spiritual love. 7. Dina hina duki kichu nabache, hena prema data ke ara ache. He does not consider who is poor or fallen or troubled, who is not like that. To every person he gives the gift of ecstatic spiritual love. Narahari hena prabhu nabaji, vishaya visheshe rahila maji. Alas, Narahari Das did not worship Lord Nitai. That is why Narahari Das is now plunged in materialistic life. Of course, we understand Narahari Das, Narahari Saka Thakur. He definitely did worship Lord Nitai, and he's definitely not plunged in materialistic life. Rather, he's a direct personal associate of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Those who understands Bengali here? We got one. We got a handful. Does that translation seem reasonable to you? Or is it too like an old Bengali? Tikache. Hosakta hai. Anyway, now, so we're going to sing this, devotees. And if you don't mind, we will sing it in a particular tune, which is the only one I know for singing it. So there you go. I'll just sing. Could someone else play the kartals if you wouldn't mind? So the tune, let me just demonstrate the tune. This is just for demonstration purposes. Just listen to this, okay? Bhuvana pavana nitai mora najani ki bhave sadai bora. Bhuvana pavana nitai mora najani ki bhave sadai bora. Gora gora bale do bahutule matagaja yena chala dule. Gora bale do bahutule matagaja yena chala dule. That was demonstration. Okay? So now we will actually sing it. Bhuvana pavana nitai mora najani ki bhave sadai bora. Bhuvana pavana nitai mora najani ki bhave sadai bora. Bhuvana pavana nitai mora najani ki bhave sadai bora. Gora gora bale do bahutule matagaja yena chalai dule. Gora gora bale do bahutule Matagajayena chala edule. Kante jala mala malati mala parasare boke kare kela malati mala parasare boke kare kela kante jala mala malati mala parasara boke kare kela. Sulalita moke madura hase chande dale yena amina rase. Sulalita moke madura hase chande dale yena amina rase. Talamala jala jaruna anke sechahani charo karuna make. Talamala jala jaruna anke sechahani charo karuna make. Pareka se anche de kayare premira patare basayatare. Pareka se anche de kayare premira patare basayatare. Dina hina duki kichuna bache hena prema data keara ache. Dina hina duki kichuna bache hena prema data keara ache. Narahari hena prabhuna bhaje vishaya visheshe rahila maje. Narahari hena prabhuna bhaje vishaya visheshe rahila maje. Bhuvana pavana nitai mora najaniki bhava sadai bora. Bhuvana pavana nitai mora najaniki bhava sadai bora. Jai Nityananda Ram, Jai Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jai Nityananda Ram. Jai Nityananda Ram, Jai Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jai Nityananda Ram. Jai Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Jai Gora Nitai. Jai Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Jai Gora Nitai. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ke, Shishi Gora Nitai ke, Srila Prabhupada ke, Gaur Premanande. Yes, okay, devotees, let us just have a look at the subject of Lord Nityananda. It's a very interesting subject. It's an extremely amazing subject, but there also may be some aspects not all of us are really so clear on. Yes. And in order to just clarify a couple of things, in the beginning, I am going to read a few verses from Caitanya Charitamrita, beginning with chapter 5, verse 149. But first of all, please repeat after me. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Samaniti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastuchade Shatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatrubhischa kripa sindhubhya evacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So devotees, first of all, we will read. Is it there? Oh, it is there. Okay. I mean, I'll just read it. We don't need to get into whole back and forth. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila chapter 5, verse 149, and then we'll read a few further verses after that. Nityananda Swarupa Purave Haya Lakshmana Lagu Brata Haya Kare Ramira Sevana. Lord Nityananda Swarup formerly appeared as Lakshman and served Lord Ramachandra as his younger brother. And next verse, Ramira Charitra Sabha Dukera Karana Swatantra Lilaya Duka Sahena Lakshmana. The activities of Lord Ram were full of suffering, but Lakshman, of his own accord, tolerated that suffering. And the next verse, Nisheda karite nare yate chotabai. Maunadari rahe Lakshman mane dukkha pai. As a younger brother, he could not stop Lord Ram from his resolution, and so he remained silent, although unhappy in his mind. Krishna avatare jeshta haila sevarakaran, Krishna ke karaila nana sukha asvadan. When Lord Krishna appeared, he, Lakshman, became his elder brother, Balaram, to serve him to his heart's content and make him enjoy all sorts of happiness. Sri Chaitanya say Krishna, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Purna Kare, Chaitanyera Kam. Lord Chaitanya is the same Lord Krishna, and Lord Nityananda is Lord Balaram. Lord Nityananda fulfills all of Lord Chaitanya's desires. So you may be familiar with these verses, you may not be so familiar, I don't know. But they're very interesting in terms of how we understand our perspective on Lord Nityananda. Because Lord Nityananda is Balaram, is Lakshman. And I'm sure you're all very, very familiar with Ram Leela, and you would know the story. There were 3 particular incidents which were just too difficult for Lakshman to tolerate. First was when Lord Ram went off to chase that deer or mystical creature, leaving Lakshman to look after Sita. But Lakshman had told Lord Ram, don't do it. Just let the deer go. He's not really a deer. He's some magician or mystical being. So it'll just cause problems. So don't go, Lakshman said. But Lord Ram, under pressure, transcendental pressure from Mother Sita, he decided, no, I must go. If she wants that deer, I must get it for her. So, but then she got kidnapped. You know the story. And Lakshman eventually had to go chasing after Lord Ram. But they came back and Sita was already gone. And Ram said to Lakshman, I told you not to leave her. Why did you do that? And Lakshman didn't say anything, but he just thought, I told you not to go after the deer. Why did you do that? I mean, in the end, you just killed it. It was a waste of time. So, and he just privately thought, sometimes you don't make good decisions about Lord Ram. And he thought, no, you're my older brother. Okay, I have to do what you say. I understand. But I think next time I want to be the older brother and I'll look after things. But then what happened when Sita was rescued, then Lord Ram told Lakshman that she was in another man's house for a month or something like a month. She has to be tested to show her purity. She must walk through fire. And Lakshman said, no, she's pure. She's eternally pure. Don't make her walk through fire. It's just unnecessary. And who's going to build that fire? No one's going to build that fire if they know what it's for. And Ram said, well, someone is going to build the fire, Lakshman. You're going to build it. And this was incident number 2. And Lakshman thought, come on, this is not nice. And it's not necessary. And it shouldn't be done. But I'm the younger brother. And what can I do? But he thought, next time I'm definitely going to be the older brother and manage things in better ways. Then the third time was when Lord Ram had been moving around the city disguised to listen in to the people and see what they're saying about him. And he heard one Dobiwala. One Dobiwala was complaining to his friends that my wife, she spent a night in another man's house. I kicked her out. I booted her right out. And she's not coming back. That's it. Because I have standards. I'm not like that Ram. His wife was in another man's house for a month and he still took her back. No, I'm not like that. I have higher standards. And Ram heard that, and Ram decided she has to be banished to the forest. And that's the end. So he told Lakshman, this is what has to happen. She has to be banished to the forest. Someone has to take her out to the forest, and don't tell her you're just going to leave her there, but tell her, oh, let's go for a nice journey, a nice trip into the forest. It'll be very nice. Then ask her, would you like to get off the chariot and have a look around? And she gets off, and you just ride away. And that's it. And leave her in the forest. And Lakshman said, no. First of all, there's no need. Just because some Dobiwala says something, don't worry about it. This world is full of people who'll say things about anything. So just don't worry about it. Don't send her to the forest. Just keep her as your wife. It'll be fine. And even if it was the right thing to banish her to the forest, who's going to do it? No one's going to do it, because everyone knows she's pure. And Ram said, Lakshman, someone is going to do it, Lakshman. You're going to do it. And Lakshman had to do it. I mean, there's more to it than that also, but that's part of it. And this was the last straw. Third time and you're out. Yeah. Third time and you're out. So Lakshman decided, that's it. Next lifetime, I am definitely going to be the older brother, and I'll see that things are done so much better. So as we read, in the next life, he was Lord Balaram. And, there's not much difference in their age, but there is a little difference. So he was the older brother. His mood is it's a mixture of some servitude, friendship, and a parental mood. Lord Balaram, although the difference in age is just a matter of, weeks or days or a couple of months or something along those lines, it's not a big difference. And he would always be looking out for Krishna. When they would go out in the morning, herding the cows, when they'd go out from Nandagram, Mother Yashoda would organize them. That, okay, now, Sridham, you go on that side of Krishna, Subal, you go on that side, and Balaram, you stay behind him, right behind, and just keep an eye. Make sure Krishna's all right. So it worked quite well until it was Balaram's birthday one time, and he stayed home to have a birthday party with his mother, and Krishna and everyone else went out. And what should happen, devotees? But Kaliya came, the Kaliya serpent. And again, I'm sure you all know the story. It ended up, not ended up, but at one point, Krishna swam out to fight with Kaliya, and Kaliya grabbed him and was holding him, and apparently Krishna was powerless. Couldn't move. He couldn't move. He's just being held too tightly. And he was held like that for several hours. And when the word got back to the village, to the parental devotees, the first thing they said, you know what was the first thing they said? It would not have happened if Balaram had been there. But he wasn't there, and now we've got this disaster. And what to do? Crisis. Yeah, so anyway, they all went running out. That's described in 𝐕𝐻𝐈𝐍 Bhagavatamrita, very beautiful description. Amazing description, actually. And they eventually, they're about to enter the Yamuna to be with Krishna and give up their lives. And Balaram calls out, Krishna, Krishna, these are not your servants in Vaikuntha. These are not your devotees from Ayodhya. These are not even the Yadus in Dwaraka. These are the inhabitants, the devotees of Vrindavan. And even though they have transcendental bodies, they're about to give up their lives. So Balaram tells Krishna, stop this pastime. Please stop this pastime now. Otherwise, he says, otherwise your gentle heart will become filled with grief if all the Brijbasis die. So like this, Balaram's there. And on the whole, things were pretty good. He was always there, a little bit in the background, usually, and just taking care. Krishna's got to fight a demon. Balaram's there, ready, if the demon sort of appears to be winning or something, he'll intervene, although generally doesn't have to. But he's always watching out, that parental eye. Parental eye, or the eye of a senior friend. There are different levels of friends, junior friend, equal level friend, and a friend who is senior to you. Yeah, but he's still a friend. It's still a friendly relationship, but he's kind of giving you some shelter, some protection, taking care, looking after, watching out for any problems that may arise. So now, Lord Nityananda, now it's time for Lord Nityananda to come. And first of all, he thought that our difference in age as Krishna and Balaram is not great. I mean, it's almost like a technical consideration, just a very short period of time in between us. So this time, I'm going to really be the older brother. So Lord Nityananda is about 12 years older than Lord Chaitanya. And we see, I mean, you don't read so much about Lord Nityananda looking after Lord Chaitanya and seeing that things don't go wrong. But there are some things like during the Rath Yatra, if you read that description, Lord Chaitanya is just in another world of ecstasy. And where's Lord Nityananda? Right behind him, running behind him with his arms outstretched, just in case Lord Chaitanya falls or trips or something like that. So that mood is there with Lord Nityananda as the older brother. Yes, and he has that sort of mood. And of course, the fundamental, like the bottom line is, he sees himself as a devotee. He's serving Lord Chaitanya. Srila Jiva Goswami explains, if you ask Lord Krishna, who is God? Then Krishna says, me. But if you ask Lord Balaram, who are you? Or no, if you ask Lord Balaram, who is God? Now Balaram can say me, because he's the very first expansion. You know, there's so many, and they're all considered God, different forms of the Lord. And he's the first one. But if you ask Lord Balaram, who is God? Balaram does not say me. He says Krishna. Krishna's God. Then if you ask Balaram, well, who are you then? Balaram will say, I'm a devotee of Krishna. I'm a servant of Krishna. That's who I am. So he has that very sort of rich, devotional mood of being a devotee, and a devotee whose particular service is, well, to do what he's told, but among other things, to take care and look after Lord Chaitanya. So this is interesting. We should consider this, and just to get a sort of little deeper perspective on what that means, we can consider, who is Lord Balaram? I mean, how does Lord Balaram serve Krishna? What does he do? He doesn't just go out herding the cows and, be ready to sort of take some action if Krishna gets into difficulty. That's there, but that's not the end of it. Jiva Goswami explains, well, first of all, Lord Balarama's first expansion, he is supporting the spiritual world. He's supporting Goloka. He expands as Sankarshan, then Vasudeva, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha in Goloka. In Goloka. The first quadruple expansion, they're in Goloka. Then as Sankarshan, Lord Balaram expands as Mahasankarshan, who's the main deity in Vaikuntha. And in this way, Vaikuntha is supported on the energy of Balaram, on the energy of Mahasankarshan. It's not that, Goloka or Vaikuntha, they're just sort of going on, but they're actually supported by the potencies of Balaram in one form or another. Then Balaram or Mahasankarshan expands as Mahavishnu, who expands as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who expands as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, and they're the ones taking care of the material world. Mahavishnu is basically like the source of the whole thing. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is supporting, controlling each universe. And Kshirodakshaya Vishnu is not just within the heart, he's within every atom. And, talk about being in control of a situation. If you're actually controlling every atom, you're really in control. But that's Vishnu. Ultimately means he's a form of Balaram. He's expanded from Balaram. Yeah, so there is some non-difference there. Then, when Krishna fights, Lord Balaram becomes his weapons. When Krishna ever fights, Balaram is his weapons. He is his friend, his brother. He is Krishna's bed, Krishna's fan, Krishna's house, would you believe? Krishna's clothes are forms of Balaram. Krishna's jewelry, his ornaments, they're all forms of Balaram. And Krishna's sitting place, his asana, is a form of Balaram. Residence bed, throne, Krishna's shoes, his sandals, they're all forms of Balaram. His pillow, his umbrella, and many other things. And Srila Jiva Goswami says, there's hardly anything which Balaram is not in terms of facilitating Krishna and being there in all these different ways to facilitate Krishna's enjoyment, his pastimes. Even I can just mention, you've all seen, I think you're all from good Hindu backgrounds, so you've all seen the picture of little baby Krishna lying on a banyan leaf, which is floating, and Krishna's sucking his toe. You know that one? You know that one? Well, there's a story behind that little story. That there's Krishna sucking his toe. And devotee asks Krishna, why are you sucking your toe? And Krishna says, well, you know, the thing is, so many of my devotees say my lotus feet are very sweet. And I just wanted to find out. Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga Ki Jai. Shri Shri Nityananda Ram Ki Jai. So he said, yes, I've heard so many of my devotees say my lotus feet are sweet, and I just wanted to find out, what are they really like? And Krishna said, and I can confirm they are very sweet. And Krishna floated away on the banyan leaf, continuing to suck his toe. Srila Jiva Goswami makes the point that the banyan leaf is Lord Balaram, the leaf, because he's facilitator, like mega, super duper facilitator of Krishna. Yeah. And Chaitanya Bhagavat says about, as like a description of like the main characteristics of Lord Nityananda, Sadai Japena Nama, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Swapne O Nahika Nityananda Mukhe Anya. He constantly chanted the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Even in his dream, he would not speak anything else. So, yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. And Lord Nityananda, in this mood of being a servant of Lord Chaitanya, basically whatever Lord Chaitanya wants, he does. And he doesn't like really question him why, or are you sure, you know, or something like that. He just does what he's asked. And Lord Chaitanya, of course, he is famous as Patitapavan, the deliverer of the fallen. And Lord Nityananda, in his mood as being a servant of Lord Chaitanya, he accepted that mood of Patita Pavan. And like we see in the story of Jagai and Madai, again, you all know the story inside out, I'm sure. But Madai attacked Lord Nityananda. Well, actually, there were two incidents where Nityananda sort of interacted with them, or there was some contact with Jagai and Madai, and they, at least one time, they chased Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. And of course, Haridas Thakur is older. He's like Advaita Acharya's age. Advaita Acharya was approximately 50 years older than Lord Chaitanya. So Haridas Thakur, not a young man at all. And they have to run from Jagai and Madai, who are just, if they caught them, they would have, tried to kill them, but they managed to escape because Jagai and Madai were just too drunk and just too bewildered to know really what was going on. So they escaped, and Haridas Thakur went to Advaita Acharya. You may have read it. And he complained. He said, "Our Lord Chaitanya has sent me out with a very restless person." That's Nityananda. He says to me, "I will go in this direction. In what direction will you go?" He swims in the crocodile-infested, monsoon-swollen Ganga to catch the crocodiles. I stand on the banks calling to him, "Higher, higher!" And he happily floats down the Ganges. While he's floating, he sees a boy on the riverbank, and he insults the boy. And the boy's parents come and chase me, Haridas Thakur, because he's on the bank. Yeah. When the boy's mother and father come with sticks in their hands, I have to grasp their feet and beg them to go. He steals butter and yogurt from a milkman and then runs. And the milkman, seeing me, grabs me to give me a beating. What he does has no logic. Seeing a young girl, he says to her, "Will you marry me?" Haribol. Climbing an ox, he shouts, excuse me. Excuse me. Anyway, he shouts, "Mahesh, Mahesh." What does he shout? Mahesh. No, come on. Yeah, that's more like it. Then he milks someone's cow, drinks the milk and runs, and I get the blame. And if I try to correct him, if I tell him, "I'm going to report you to Advaita Acharya," he says, "What will your Advaita do to me? And your master you call Chaitanya, what will he do to me?" Yeah, he's just like that. And Haridas Thakur says, "I didn't want to tell you this, because it's just, but anyway, I felt I had to, because today we almost lost our lives." Yeah. And then Advaita says, This is nothing special for him. An intoxicated person should join other drunks. And he is drunk with love of God. So let him join those two. And then, so Haridas Thakur is kind of taken aback. Let him join Jagai and Madai. And Advaitacharya says, I guarantee you within 24 hours, Jagai and Madai will be devotees. By the mercy of Nitai, yes. Just wait and see tomorrow. Nimai and Nitai will bring these two drunks with them and dance with them here and have them mingle with all the other Vaishnavas. And of course, that's what happened. You know the story. Madai attacked Lord Nityananda, hit him on the head with like a piece of broken, like a jug, sort of water pot sort of thing. Hit him on the head and blood came. Now, those of you who are familiar with Ishopanishad, you may have noted that it says there that the Lord has no blood and has no veins. So what happened to Nityananda? He is the same Lord. But the thing is, if the Lord wants to have some blood, who can stop him? So yeah, Nityananda, it was all down his clothes. It was really not a good situation. And then Lord Chaitanya came calling out, chakra, chakra, and manifested the chakra, and he was just about to destroy them when Nityananda jumped in between Lord Chaitanya and Jagai and Madai. And he appealed to Lord Chaitanya, please, don't kill them. If you kill them, there's going to be so many you're going to have to kill. But you're Patita Pavan, that's your mission. And here they are, Patita, this is them. This is them, the most fallen. So if you can save them, then people will understand you're really Patita Pavan. And you'll become famous as Patita Pavan. And that's your mission. So Lord Chaitanya agreed and told Lord Nityananda, all right, I won't kill them. And Nityananda said, please, give them to me. Just give them to me. I'll look after them. And that's what he did. Lord Chaitanya accepted the two of them, but via Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda really sort of kept in touch with them more. Like Madai, after that whole incident and being accepted as one of the devotees and taking part in kirtans with the devotees and all the devotees being very nice to him and just very accepting and just forgetting about the past. But Madai still felt really bad. He really felt extremely bad that I caused pain to this transcendental body of this most amazing Lord, most merciful Lord Nityananda. I caused pain. I caused his blood to flow. What sort of degraded demon am I? And he thought, I'm too degraded, actually. They may have forgiven me, but he didn't feel like he'd been forgiven. He still felt like a burden of responsibility. Actually, during the main incident where Lord Chaitanya is about to kill them. And Lord Nityananda asks Lord Chaitanya, just give them to me. Don't kill them. Give them to me. I'll take care of them. Then Lord Chaitanya told Lord Nityananda, if you really forgive this Madai, then embrace him. And then your forgiveness will bear fruit. So Lord Nityananda tightly embraced Madai. And in this way, Madai became completely free of material bondage. And by the touch, by Lord Nityananda's touch, Madai attained all spiritual potency. But if you look in Chaitanya Bhagavat, it's too long really to read the whole thing. But Madai, after all this, still feeling very bad and still feeling he has to do more to really be forgiven and to really be properly corrected, Madai approached Lord Nityananda. And there's, I think it's a whole chapter, Madai's prayers to Lord Nityananda, in which he's describing how degraded he is and how merciful Lord Nityananda is. And here's just a couple of things from there. This is Madai offering prayers to Lord Nityananda. Your blissful body is very soft. Lord Krishna enjoys pastimes of sleeping on your body, but I attacked your graceful body. No one is more cruel or sinful than I. Goddess Parvati and Lord Shiva's 900 million maidservants worship your transcendental body. By remembering your transcendental body, one becomes free from the bonds of material life. But I made blood flow from that transcendental body. By serving your body, King Chitraketu easily became the first of Vaishnavas. But I, a great sinner, attacked the body countless universes meditate on. When he just insulted you, Krishna's brother-in-law Rukmi had to give up his life. Although he was supposed to live as long as Lord Brahma, Romaharshana Sutta found his long life burned to ashes when he didn't rise upon seeing you. These are some of his prayers. Have a look through, it's really nice. And I mean, I could have read them all. There's a benediction at the end. Anyone who hears or recites the prayers of Madai will get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Anyway, you heard a few of the prayers. Really nice. So therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes a comment that because in this particular instance, well, there's a sort of a background. That demon who Lord Ram might kill, Lord Krishna might, not in all cases, but might spare his life. And that demon who Lord Krishna would kill, Lord Chaitanya would spare his life. But that demon who Lord Chaitanya would kill, Lord Nityananda not only spared his life, but gave him Krishna Prema. So therefore, Lord Nityananda is a very incredible person in so many respects, how he serves and how merciful he is. That, yeah, how merciful he is, it's just inconceivable. So therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes the point that Lord Chaitanya is Patita Pavan. That we know, he's the deliverer of the fallen. But, and that's who he is. That's like his identity. like we can say, you know, Acharya Ratna Prabhu is the president. He's the president. And he's a brahmachari. These are his identity, in a sense, as a devotee. So Lord Chaitanya, his identity in that sense is he's Patita Pavan. Someone else may say, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer, I'm this, I'm that. Lord Chaitanya is Patita Pavan. That's what he does. That's what he does. I mean, we often ask people, what do you do? Means, what's your occupation? Well, that's what Lord Chaitanya's occupation is. He's Patita Pavan. But Lord Nityananda, because he's a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, and, you know, they're the 6 symptoms of surrender, one of which is to accept, like, the mission of the Lord, to make it your mission. Yes, to accept the mission of the Lord as your mission. And that's what Lord Nityananda did. But particularly in this particular case with Jagai and Madai, Lord Chaitanya was about to kill them. Lord Nityananda saved them. If Lord Nityananda had not saved them, if he hadn't stepped in between Lord Chaitanya and them, they would have been finished, cut to pieces by the Sudarshan Chakra. So therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes the point that actually Lord Nityananda has accepted that identity of Patita Pavan even more than Lord Chaitanya has, because Lord Chaitanya was prepared to kill them. So therefore, an interesting point, he says that therefore Lord Nityananda is more one with Lord Chaitanya than Lord Chaitanya is one with himself. It's a little abstract, but I think you get the idea that he's accepted the mission as a devotee. He's accepted the mission of his Lord. And at least, you know, in that situation, it appears he's accepted the Lord's mission as his mission, arguably more than Lord Chaitanya has, in a sense. I mean, this is all sort of transcendental, psychology, you could say. So Lord Nityananda, he is famous for being very merciful. That's a great classic example. There are other examples of his extreme mercy upon people who wanted to kill him and, just really like super horrible people. But he was merciful to them. But then also, Lord Nityananda is famous for being, you might say, like a transcendental character. He kind of easily pleased and easily displeased to some degree. We see in the story with Shivananda Sen, they're all on their way to Jagannath Puri. Shivananda Sen is the manager of the whole group. He has to make all arrangements for the travel and prasadam and crossing the rivers, and it's a big managerial job. And one day, somehow, Lord Nityananda did not get his prasadam. And that's a problem. Not because Shivananda Sen was sleeping or, just fooling around or something. He was just too busy dealing with some government taxation people or some people like that. So he came to apologize to Lord Nityananda, and what did Lord Nityananda do? Kicked him. He kicked him. And Shivananda Sen's wife complained to Shivananda Sen, you're doing so much, and you're doing so much for him, and he kicks you? She didn't appreciate it. And Shivananda Sen said, just be quiet, you stupid fool. That was his mercy. He gave me his mercy. And he took it as a great blessing. He got kicked by the Lord. So Lord Nityananda, he's a transcendental character. And sometimes so are his brothers. Let me just have a look at something in that regard. So, this is Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur is speaking, that those who wish to cross the ocean of material existence and drown in the ocean of devotional service must worship Lord Nityananda. Someone said, Nityananda is just like Balaram. Another person said, he is most dear to Sri Chaitanya. Someone may consider Nityananda a sannyasi. Someone may consider him a devotee. And someone may consider him a jnani. They can say whatever they like. Even if Nityananda was a most insignificant servant of Lord Chaitanya, still I would keep his lotus feet in my heart. Therefore, I kick the head of any sinful person who disregards the glories of Lord Nityananda and dares to criticize him. So if you read, I remember first time I read Chaitanya Bhagavat many years, like 30 years ago, or more than 30 years ago, like 35 years ago. And I came across this sort of statement, I will kick them in the heads. And I thought, what? What? This is a bit different from Chaitanya Charitamrita, isn't it? And then you get it a few times. There are a few times Vrindavan Das Thakur just really gets into it like that. And, sounds like he's a bit violent or an aggressive type of person. But listen to this. This is now the explanation given by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Lila, chapter 9, verse 225, purport. So listen to this. In order to permanently stop the continual irreverence towards the Supreme Lord by those hellish people who enviously criticize Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and to render them eternal benefit and good sense, the author, Vrindavan Das Thakur, is ready to kick them in the head by the statement of the most merciful Sri Thakur Mahashai, means Vrindavan Das Thakur, to the staunch atheists, the transcendental goddess of learning, Shuddha Saraswati, displays the firm attachment of a servant towards his master. Yes, and he goes on. So he goes on to say, while Srila Thakur of Vrindavan, who's a Vaishnavacharya, the direct incarnation of Vyasa and servant of Sri Nityananda, so while he enacts his pastime of transcendentally kicking, if even one particle of dust falls on the head of some fortunate person, they will certainly achieve auspiciousness. In other words, their anatha nivriti, or freedom from unwanted things, is guaranteed. The exhibition of such great compassion by Vrindavan Das Thakur or the Lord is beyond the imagination or intelligence of the foolish non-devotees, who cannot discriminate between what is favorable and what is unfavorable for their own welfare. So there you go. But anyway, leave the kicking in the head to Vrindavan Das Thakur. Let's not do it ourselves. Because, you know, if a particle of dust from one of our feet goes on someone's head, I don't know. Maybe they should just take a bath. But yeah, that's interesting. I found that really interesting. That actually this kicking of Vrindavan Das Thakur, or saying he's kicking, and maybe he actually did it, it's just an expression of his mercy. And if just one piece of dust from his foot goes on the head of one of those people, they're on their way back to Godhead. So yeah, Lord Nityananda, I mean, one could sort of, there's many incidents in which he shows his extraordinary, I mean, you know, some might say eccentricities, or just, you know, like very unusual and what would not really be considered socially acceptable activities, in fact. Yeah. Like, you know, during the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, the nocturnal kirtans, one night, just as in the earlier stages of the kirtan, the earlier stages of the evening, Srivas, whose place it is, saw his wife was emotional. And he asked her, what happened? What's wrong? And she said, one of our sons just died. And Srivas told her, just don't show any emotion. Just stay cool. Do what you normally do during the kirtan. We don't want to disturb Lord Chaitanya in the kirtan. So she did that. But then at the end, or when things had finished, then she became emotional again, and Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda together, they saw that. And so they asked her, you know, what's wrong? And I think Srivas told them that actually one of our sons died, right, kind of at the beginning of the kirtan. And Lord Chaitanya said, why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you tell us? And Srivas said, well, we didn't want to disturb you during the kirtan. But anyway, now you know. And both Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they said, well, you just lost one son. We are both going to become your sons. Both of us, Chaitanya and Nityananda. You lost one son, now you've got two. So particularly, Lord Nityananda interacted with the wife of Srivas, Malini, like a son, even though Lord Nityananda is in his 30s. Yeah, he's around 30, 32, 33, something like that. But he would come over. He'd come over completely naked, like little children do in the villages. I'm sure you've all seen so many times. All they've got on is like some sort of little strap or string around the waist with a little kavacha or something on it. And that's it. Full stop. That's the end. So Lord Nityananda would do like that. And in that mood, and he'd act like really very, very childish. And Malini would breastfeed him. She's an old lady. She's probably 50, 60. And her childbearing time is long gone. But now she became able to breastfeed Lord Nityananda, and she'd do it regularly. And Lord Nityananda would come regularly. And I mean, there's all sorts of things he did, but basically act as a child with Malini. Yes, so one time, it's described in Chaitanya Bhagavat. One time, Lord Nityananda was there, and he was being sort of mischievous. He was being mischievous. And I mean, I won't go into the whole conversation, but Lord Chaitanya then went to Srivas and said to test Srivas. He said, why do you keep this Avaduta here? Why do you allow him to come? Why do you allow him to come inside your house? You don't know anything about him. You know, where he's from, what family he's from. You don't know his background. You don't know all these types of things. You're being too lenient. You're being too kind with him. Just send him out. Just send him away. Otherwise, you'll lose your good reputation in society. Yeah. And people will think that you're just a low-class person. So Srivas smiled and said, "Oh Lord, it's not proper for you to test me in this way. I know that Lord Nityananda is your expansion. There's no difference between yourself and him. I'm your servant, and anyone who serves you becomes my master. Even if Lord Nityananda were a meat-eating drunkard, and due to my association with him, I lost my reputation, wealth, and everything, still I tell you truly that I would never think of anything else than serving his lotus feet and your lotus feet." And hearing Srivas speak in this way, Lord Chaitanya jumped up and roared loudly. Anyway, I don't think we'll try that one. But he roared loudly, really loudly, with great joy. And he said to Srivas, he said, "What have I just heard from you, Srivas? You have so much faith and love for Nityananda Prabhu. You have understood the truth about him, who is my dear most confidential associate. This has pleased me. I am so pleased by you that I'm giving you a boon, a blessing. Even if there comes a time when Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, goes bankrupt and has nothing and has to go door to door begging. Yeah. Even if she's forced to wander about with a begging bowl, still your house will never know poverty. Everyone in your house, including your dogs and cats, will find complete shelter in my devotional service. Therefore, I leave Lord Nityananda in your care so that you can look after him and serve him properly." Sure, Krishna, Krishna. It's pretty amazing. And, you know, we could sort of go on, I suppose, for quite some time, but I think we should probably finish here. Well, let me just, if I can find it, find one other. Can I go on for another few minutes? A few minutes, not long. Oh, I see. Okay. On Calcutta. I see. He's coming here. Oh, I see. Okay. So what? Well, okay. This is something I'm trying to find. Lord Nityananda. Well, anyway, let me just try and do it from memory. Lord Nityananda was traveling with his devotees, a whole group of some hundreds of devotees. And they came to the village where the famous or infamous Ramachandra Khan lived. You heard of Ramachandra Khan. He's the one who got the prostitute to approach Haridas Thakur to try to, his idea was to try to degrade Haridas Thakur. And it's just, real nonsense. Although he is sort of, in principle, or whatever you'd say, he's a Hindu, he's not a Muslim. But still, he just hated Haridas Thakur, and he generally didn't appreciate devotees. So anyway, one time, Lord Nityananda and his group, they went to that village. And Ramachandra Khan, it seems he was not a tax collector necessarily, but he was more like a big businessman type of person. So he was the big man in that village. He was the big man. And he had a big house with big courtyard and a Durga temple. And he was just the top man in the area. So Lord Nityananda and his group, they arrived at his place because they had been told they wanted a place to stay. And they said, wow, people said, Ramachandra Khan, he's got the biggest place, go there. So they turned up there. And Lord Nityananda, one servant came out. They're in the courtyard. And one servant came out, and Lord Nityananda said, can you ask Ramachandra Khan, can me, I'm Nityananda, and with my associates and devotees, can we please stay here in the courtyard overnight? We'd be most appreciative. So the servant went back and came back a minute later and said, Ramachandra Khan says, this courtyard is too small for you. You need a bigger place. And there is a milkman who has a very nice barn up the road. And it's big enough for all of you. In other words, he's insulting Lord Nityananda. He won't accept Lord Nityananda and just go to this milkman and live in a barn. And the servant said that, yes, Ramachandra Khan says, this place is not suitable for you, his place. And Lord Nityananda replied, you're right. His place is not fit for us. This place is fit for cow-eating demons. Yeah, that's who it's fit for. And they didn't even stay in the village. They didn't stay in the village. So what happened? This is actually Chaitanya Charitamrita. I forget where it is exactly, but it's there. What happened was that, like the next day or a few days later, the Muslim tax collector came. And this there was very aggressive man and heavy Muslim. He came and he understood Ramachandra Khan has been avoiding taxes in a big way. So what he did, he kicked Ramachandra Khan and his family out of the house. Then in the Durga temple, he killed a cow and cooked the cow, and they ate the cow in the Durga temple. And for 3 days, each day they did that. They killed a cow, cooked it and ate it there. And then they went. And then gradually, the village went bankrupt. The whole village fell to pieces. Everyone left the village, and the village just became like a ruins, just totally desolate. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, this is what happens to someone. Well, the point is, this is what happens to someone who offends the Lord or his devotees. But this is what because this happened to all the people in the village. So if you support a person who's an offender, then this is what happens to you. You lose everything. Even if you don't do the offenses, but you just support the offender. I wish I could find the place. But anyway, such is life. But yeah, that was, let me just say, that was a pretty dramatic pastime. So let us close by reading something. Listen to this, devotees. Lord Nityananda, wherever he would go, he would sing the song, Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, Lava Gauranga Namare. Ye Jana Gauranga Bhaje, Sehoi Mora Pranare. Worship Gauranga, chant the name of Gauranga, take the mercy of Gauranga. Anyone who worships Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that person is my life and soul. So he would plead in this way, wherever he would go. And if someone was so hard-hearted that even though Nitai, who is the embodiment of divine love and compassion, was begging, even though Nitai was begging, take the name of Gauranga, take the name of Krishna. If they would still refuse, then Lord Nityananda would get on his hands and knees and beg. Please, I beg you, do not reject me. Do not spoil your human life. Take the name of Gauranga. Worship Gauranga. If they would still refuse, Lord Nityananda would prostrate himself on the ground, rolling in the dust, touching their feet, and plead with them with tears in his eyes, saying, do not spoil your human life. I beg you, I plead with you, I'll do anything. I'll eternally be your servant, but please chant the holy names. In this way, there's never been any incarnation of God who has ever manifested such mercy. Hare Krishna. Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki. Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki. Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki.
Jai!
Go Premanande.
Hari Hari Bo! Any questions?
Oh, okay. If anyone wants.
Anybody has any questions? Here is the opportunity to ask.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for explaining so beautifully the reason for the appearance of Lord Nityananda. Maharaj, I have two questions in sequence. One, you spoke that Balram is technically little older than Krishna, maybe few weeks or like that.
Yeah, something.
But as far as I've studied, it seems that he is 1 year older than Krishna.
Maybe. There are different versions, but it's not a long time.
So,
If it's a year, it's a little less than a year. But there's also versions that when he was transferred, that then Lord Krishna more or less immediately
he entered the
entered
womb,
the,
but remained in the womb for 8 months. Then Krishna came out. So Balram was transferred into the womb of Rohini when he was 7 months older in the womb of Devaki.
yeah, so it's some, at most it's almost a year,
Yeah, almost a year.
a bit less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This we hear that Nityananda Prabhu is 12 years older than Lord Chaitanya, and his pastimes are quite inconceivable compared to the pastime of Balramji and even Lakshmanji, because Nityananda has the mood, as explained so beautifully, has the mood of giving protection to Lord Chaitanya. In the Rath Yatra dance, it was Lord Nityananda who was trying to protect the Lord from falling.
Yeah.
But he also becomes like a child, as you explained, just goes naked, even in front of Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah.
And so his pastimes are deeply inconceivable compared to other. If you could throw some light, how to understand, because Lord Nityananda has the mood even as a child, as the younger brother, as the older brother. These mood were not so intertwined, even as Balramji. Balramji served Balramji served Krishna in different ways, but he always maintained the mood as elder brother. And
Yeah, but Lord Nityananda, like you mentioned and I mentioned also, Lord Nityananda, there are situations like in the Rath Yatra where he was protecting Lord Chaitanya, so that mood was there. But then, he is like he's so absorbed in love of God, he's intoxicated. And therefore, he does things, he's avaduta. He does things which are inconceivable, as you said. And that's just his mood. And Lord Balaram doesn't do like that. We never read about Lord Balaram doing things like that. Generally, Lord Balaram is very responsible, like kind of very mature. Yeah. So, but when Lord Nityananda gets so much into his mood of love, then he also becomes, goes a little unusual or even very unusual. Yeah. Even Lord Chaitanya would do that sometimes, go unusual, when he got so much into a mood of love of God. At home he'd smash everything sometimes, Lord Chaitanya. But it's all part of going into some exceptional type of condition of love, of Krishna prema. Yeah. So it's like that. Because of being devotees, because they're both devotees, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, even though they're both the Supreme Lord, and that is there sometimes, but they're also devotees, and they're not just devotees in the general sense, but they're super devotees, most incredible devotees. And Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra, Vigyeha Nabuchaya, like people like yeah, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Spiritual Master, Gorkishore Das Babaji, he would, or Vamsi Das Babaji. You read about some of the things, they're absorbed in love of God. And I mean, even it happened with Srila Prabhupada a little, not much, but it happened. They kind of go into a different realm of consciousness where emotions that you never generally see, they manifest. Yeah. So it's like that. I mean, I think that's basically an explanation. Okay, Hare Krishna. Let me just read. I just found this thing about Ramachandra Khan. Let me just read the crucial verse. Wherever an advanced devotee is insulted, for one man's fault, the entire town or place is afflicted. And there's another example is Shringi. Because of his bad behavior, very bad behavior of cursing, Maharaj Parikshit, the whole Brahminical class, every single one of them, the process of degradation of Kali Yuga started, but it started from Shringi. And because you know what they say? What do they say? It takes a village to bring up a child, isn't it? And a something to do something. But like that, it's not just mum and dad. They bring up the child and that's it. Their responsibility. There's a greater responsibility for bringing up children. And so, I mean, the idea is that Shringi had the ability to curse, but he had not got the ability to withdraw the curse, which means, he shouldn't have been given the power to curse without being given the power to withdraw the curse. That was like improper training. Yeah. And that sort of standard of training, like a lower standard of training, was there throughout the Brahminical community, the whole, not just in that area. Yeah. So, I mean, they had become sort of degraded in that sense. But then when it manifested in the form of the curse of one of the greatest devotees, then really things went downhill in the Brahminical community. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thanks for the beautiful class. Maharaj, I have one confusion and doubt. Like you were explaining that reason why Lakshman wanted to become the elder brother in the next life. But what we understand that Krishna and Balram, they're eternally existing. So like Lord Ram, Lakshman, they're eternal. So it's not that in next life, Lakshman is becoming like elder brother. He's still like the younger brother of Lord Ram. So what does it mean when we say that?
All right, okay. It's all Leela. This is their Leela. You have to let them have their Leela, They can't just do everything by the rules, by the rule book, the rules and regulations. So, yeah, in Ram Leela, there is a little like raganuga or spontaneity. There's a little when Ram embraces Hanuman. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, we have to allow them if they want. They can put it in that way, express themselves. I'm going to take birth as the older brother. He's going to anyway, because that's just Krishna and Balaram. They're eternally like that. But in terms of the Leela, he's saying, yeah, I don't like this, therefore I'm going to become the older brother. So let him have his ecstasy like that. We shouldn't try to control him too much. Is that okay?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for class, for such a beautiful description. You just mentioned about that Shringi cursing Parikshit Maharaj and then fall down of the class happened. So, like in similar way, we hear about Durvasa Muni scene with Amrish Maharaj and other like a Brahmana is trying to curse or destroy a devotee. So, how to understand that this is different from Sringi pastime, and from there the fall down has been started.
How to understand? Probably because it says so. In the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says so. That was a crucial thing. You know, it appears that it was a build-up. It wasn't just one person, sort of like Durvasa Muni. Every now and then, Durvasa Muni just loses it, like with Maharaj Ambarish, just unnecessarily. It's just completely not the right thing. But it's just he's just one person. But it seems like the situation with Shringi not being properly educated was like a symptom of what was going on in the Brahminical community. There was a tendency to not be so responsible in educating the children. And so therefore a child, he's just a child, knows how to curse, but he doesn't know why not to curse, for example. He doesn't know how to withdraw the curse. Shamika offered, because he knew, he said, I'll withdraw the curse. Do you want me to withdraw the curse? Parikshit said, no, I want to take the curse because it's the will of the Lord. So, you know, it's one thing if someone like Durvasa Muni, you know, we do this seminar on the demons in Krishna's Vrindavan Leela, and there's all these demons, you could say. I mean, they're not all demons, but we use that title for the seminar. They're all cursed. And so many of them are cursed. About a third of them were cursed to become demons by Durvasa Muni. Yeah. So many of them, not all of them, and not half, it's about a third. There's 20 or 21. So something like 7 of them were cursed by Durvasa Muni to become demons because they did something which was not serious. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't serious. But it's just Durvasa Muni. It's not like there's a whole culture of doing that. But it appears there was more like a culture in the Brahminical community. There was a type of culture of educating the children, but not really educating them properly. Otherwise, they wouldn't be taught to curse unless they're taught to withdraw the curse, or unless they're educated what is cursable and what isn't. You know, like irresponsible cursing. Is that okay? Hare Krishna. Prabhu Jay.
Lord Chaitanya, we don't see Krishna checking Balram at any time, but Lord Chaitanya, he checks Nityananda. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, it says whenever Nityananda exhibits some activities which are abnormal, then Lord Chaitanya checks him. And Vrindavan Das Thakur writes that only Lord Chaitanya can check Lord Nityananda and no one else can check like that.
Yeah. Because even though Lord Nityananda is the older brother, Lord Chaitanya is still the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. So sometimes he asserts himself, like there's one, I've got it here somewhere, an exchange between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. And Lord Chaitanya says, listen, you've got no clothes on. And Lord Nityananda says, oh, really? And you must not do like this. Really? He's doing like that with Lord Chaitanya. And he's answering in kind of, well, like not really relevant ways, like he's answering another question sort of thing. And it's a bit like eccentricity. But anyway, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, he would sometimes move around singing, and Advaita Acharya also, Chaitanyera Dasa Muni, Chaitanyera Das, Chaitanyera Dasa Muni, Dasa Dasera Das or something. Yeah, I'm just a servant of Lord Chaitanya. And we read the one verse from Chaitanya Bhagavat, which said that Lord Nityananda, all he did was chant the name of Lord Chaitanya, even when he was sleeping. So he was a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, even though he's in a senior position by age. Prabhu. Oh, wait.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, my question is, you told Lord Balaram incarnated as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, and Anant Sesh is also Balaramji.
He's also, yes.
Both are Balaramji only?
Huh?
So both are Balaramji only?
Yes.
Okay.
Their forms or expansions from, but Balaram's behind them. It's his program, maintaining the material world, maintaining Vaikuntha, maintaining Goloka. This is all the business of Balaram. And in order to do that, he manifests Anantasheshas there, the three Vishnus.
And other incarnations like Lord Ram, Narsim, they are also coming from Lord Balaramji, or?
Well, in a sense, they are. In a sense, but not so much in the particular sense of maintaining the creation, like maintaining the spiritual world, maintaining the material world, managing the material world. Yeah. So it's a different phenomenon, a different type of activity of Balaram. Okay, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki
Jai.
Go Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj ki jai. So by mercy of Lord Nityananda and Srila Prabhupada, we are so blessed to have association of His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj. So today evening also he'll be there. And today evening also we'll be having association of Bhakti Pushpa Maharaj also. So we are having a wonderful festival. So let us take advantage of this beautiful festival and wonderful association of His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj even in the evening. Haribol.
Haribol.